Good evening, everybody. It's Friday night. It's dark. It's always dark at this time of year. I don't know why. I don't know why we can't do these things purely in the summer, but here we are at the end of January. It's Friday. It is Great Grimsby Day. So it is a day to be celebrating all things Grimbarian. And so we thought we would record another Grimbarians online lockdown talk for you. We're all still back in lockdown and we never know when it's going to end. So we thought we would carry on in 2021 how we did in 2020. And I was very lucky to be able to talk to some fabulous people during the whole of last year, both in person and online. And tonight is no different. I think it's fair to say that my guest tonight can be described as probably a bit of a rock star when it comes to business in Grimsby and the surrounding area. She really has brought a business to life at a moment in time when timing is everything in business. And I think she will probably agree with me that she's in the right place at the right time. And hopefully that right place is Grimsby as well. So good evening to my guest this evening. Hello, Jordan. How are you?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
That was a nice intro.
I try my best. I make these things up as I go along, and yeah, hopefully you're still there on the other side of it, which you are. So I must have said something right. So
yeah, no,
so thank you.
Yeah, toast to Great Grimsby Day.
Absolutely, yeah. Cheers. I've only got water, unfortunately, and I got told off for drinking too much wine last week. So
I want to pretend this is Aperol Spritz, but it's not. It's like a healthy vitamin B12 fizz.
Okay, is that something that you are enjoying or suffering?
Enjoying, actually. It's
Oh,
got
good.
a dash of vodka in it as well, though. It's Friday.
Even better, absolutely.
Life's about balance.
Perfect, absolutely. So anyway, let me start by asking how you are.
I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, and the lockdown experience, lockdown 3 or 4 or 12 or whatever we're in at the moment. How is it for you?
It's 2050, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it?
It feels like it. No, honestly, I mean, the same as everyone. I'm a bit, bored of it, if I'm honest, but I can't really complain because I've got a good bubble and I've got a good support network and I've got a business that's doing well, and it's keeping my brain busy, which is always helpful during challenging times. So I've thrown myself, and I've got a toddler.
Yeah.
She's like 19 months. So I've thrown myself into hanging out with my daughter and trying to dominate business as much as possible and like that.
And that's the interesting one, isn't it? Because with a little one running around, that how much time do you, or given that it is lockdown, does that give you more time to be a mum as well as a rock star businesswoman?
Well, she sees me more, but unfortunately she does see me glued to a screen quite a lot. I'm either on my phone or a laptop, which, I'm trying really, really hard to like segment my time. And, I try and do the screen time when she's, napping more, or when she, when I first wake up, try and get up a bit earlier and blitz through it in the morning. I feel really productive, like in the morning, get loads of stuff done, because then you're thinking about naps, you're thinking about food, and then you don't want to just be playing on her own all day. So I try and have a bit of playtime with her as well. But it is hard trying to find the balance. Whatever you do, you feel guilty. Yeah. You think, right, I'm not spending enough time on the business, or I'm not spending enough time with my daughter. But as I say, like, I've got a really good support system. So 3 days a week she can go to like my mum or to my husband's mum, which frees me up to be completely business focused. And then 2 days a week I've got a juggle.
Yeah,
so I am lucky.
So you're doing something wrong then if you're doing a bedtime story via Zoom. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. I've just left the husband to put us to bed tonight.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. The project obviously with Grimbarians is to try and focus on the positive aspects of the town and the area and the region and everything that's going right, because so many people will try and spend their time telling you what's going wrong. But you are genuinely one of the very big success stories in the town right now. I know you are on the move. Is that right? Have you made the move yet to because you were based at Binbrook? You're based, but then you're moving into town. But then you're moving into the big glamorous HQ. What's the timeline for that?
So yeah, we're in Binbrook at the moment. Well, some, our engineering, the guys that can't work from home are sort of like in and out, getting parts and then working from home on their engineering bit and coding. So it used to be all of our offices in Binbrook, but then we've got all of our manufacturing in Grimsby. So we've taken over a huge, like 35,000 square foot warehouse that used to be an old, the old Wix building.
Yep.
We're in there at the moment, and that was not planned. That was because we've just outgrown Binbrook so rapidly, and 2 years ago we got planning permission, or started the talks and got planning permission for this new build in Stallingborough on this new site.
Yep.
And that's 15,000 square foot, so it is obviously far too small because we're in a 35,000 square foot and a 9,000 square foot building at the moment. You can do the math, that's too small. So that 15,000 square foot gorgeous building that you can see is going to be completed in April, May time. We're fully kitted out in that time. And then hopefully all of our office staff will be based from there, or, agile working, because I think that's the way that it's going to be a lot more moving forward once things go back to normal. I don't see people going back to a 9 to 5 at the office, and I personally as a business owner wouldn't want that for the staff. So we've tried to really develop a smart, agile, really cool workspace that people are actually going to want to come to work. And then we're going to, hopefully, it's not definite, but build on the land next to it so that we've got our production folk very close by to all of our, have everybody in the close proximity on one site. But there's also talks that that's going to be too small at the moment in the rate that we're growing. So we're already speaking to the council, who've been very supportive, by the way, in trying to facilitate us. And I'm just so glad that we actually put our stake in the ground and became that flagship company for that Stallingborough area. Because it's meant that because we had trust in it, the councils had trust in us, and they're sort of like reserving us plots because they know that we've got this rapid growth. We actually employed 70 people through lockdown.
Wow.
Through the pandemic, really, through the pandemic, to keep up with the manufacturing. And it's obviously all strict measures in place and socially distance, yada yada. But that manufacturing's always been able to stay open, thankfully. And if we didn't have that, there'd be no business. Our production is our biggest earner, and it's something that's made us profitable. As there's not many manufacturers in the UK, and especially in our space, which is renewables and electric vehicles. Obviously,
well, let me stop you there, because I've just realised, because ever since I met you, which I think is 2 or 3 years ago now, at the renewables conference in Grimsby, I find it that you are one of those wonderful people that you just start talking to and it never stops. And
sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's a good thing. You are the perfect guest, but I am the worst host in the world, because I've just realised I haven't actually told anybody what you do. So let's
assuming.
Let's imagine that everybody's just landed back from the International Space Station and they've never heard of Jordan Brompton before. So tell me, Jordan, what exactly do you do?
This is my worst thing. I even in meetings and everything, like co-founded the business, and I sort of freeze when I'm like, what do we actually do? Right now, so we are I was going to say British manufacturers, but we've established that. I mean, we're in Grimsby manufacturers.
Yep.
We are innovators and manufacturers of eco-smart products that go in homes with solar panels or wind turbines, and businesses, specifically focused at electric vehicle charging and diverting power around the home. So you've got your generation on your roof, you've got your solar panels on your roof, coming into your home. Your home uses whatever it needs to use, but then you've got power going out to the grid. And we've figured out how to divert that power, that spare power. Instead of sending it off to the grid, we put it into your hot water, underfloor heating, storage heating, or to an electric vehicle. And we were sort of the first on the market to bridge the gap between renewable energy and electric cars. So we hit that absolute sweet spot. And it's something, I've been involved in renewables for years, and so is my business partner. He's Lee Sutton, and he's an electronics engineer. We're called Pinky and the Brain. He's the brain behind it all. I package it all up nicely and bring it out to the world and put it in put complicated stuff in sort of layman's terms, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to anyone that buys
That's
our
good.
products. They are complicated products, and to market them, it's quite difficult because they do a lot. But yeah, we just sort of hit that sweet spot. We used to sell our little devices that we manufactured that went with solar panels to hot water, and then we thought, why can't we divert this to a car battery? You know, Lee at the time drove a Leaf, a very, very early Leaf Nissan, and he was just frustrated that there was still surplus power going out to the grid, even though his car was plugged in or whatever. So we just wanted to make sure that every little bit of that spare energy was consumed. So essentially, if you've got solar panels, your return on investment is far quicker with having our devices. It saves you an absolute fortune, because you don't get the feed-in tariff anymore. And those people that are lucky enough to be fixed in and locked into those early good rates still get paid that, because you get paid for what you generate, so you may as well use it as well. So they're on a win-win. It's like a double whammy.
So is this, and please tell me that this isn't how it happened, and it actually was some kind of incredibly high-powered intellectual meeting. But did you actually sit at some point with Lee and go, so what are we going to do with myenergi? And if somebody goes, oh, that's a good name, we should call it myenergi.
No, to be honest, Lee had the name myenergi already. So he registered the business in July 2016, before, I think it was before we'd even had a conversation. So he'd just sort of in his mind thought, I'm going to start up again.
That's a good
and
name.
I want to call it myenergi. And then he tapped me on the shoulder and said, do you want to come on this journey with me? Like, I want to make some new products. But he wanted to bring out another power diverter, like the one that goes into the hot water tank and underfloor heating. And he wanted to target Germany specifically, because the German market was just about to take off. And I just found that really exciting. So I said, yeah. And then he thought about the car charger, but he thought it was going to be so niche that it wasn't really, there wasn't really much, he wasn't keen to focus too much attention on it. Sorry, stumbling. Yeah, so because he said, how many people are going to own an EV and how many people are going to have solar panels? Like, I just think it's going to be quite niche of a niche. And I said, well, leave it with me. Let me put the feelers out. Let me chat to, people on forums and on Twitter and things like that. And I joined officially because I got married in September 2016. And I said, let me go get my wedding out the way, have my honeymoon, and start this completely fresh, close up my other business, give me those few months and we'll hit the ground running. And I started in November 2016. And then we started, he had a few engineers that he was working with trying to get this RED device off the ground. And that's the one that diverts the power to this hot water. And then I joined in November and started putting the feelers out for what's now our Zappi product, and started building a campaign. I said, we crowdfunded it to see if there would be a market for it. And within 30 days of launching the crowdfunder campaign, I think we got £10,000 of pre-orders, and it was from end users. It wasn't from like wholesalers and installers. And I was like pretty confident in that, because I thought, we've not spent any money on marketing. It's me within my network reaching out to people, seeing if they'd pre-order it and if we could get it off the ground. And it was literally within 30 days, 10 grand. So I thought, there's something in this. So we plowed a load of money into it.
So the normal job of marketing is to go and find those end users and see if they want the thing that you've got. But what you've actually got is the end users that have given you money to make the thing that they need.
Exactly. But we needed to actually raise 40 grand to get it into production. And because we'd got it working, we'd got the prototype. Actually getting something to prototype stage is quite not simple, it's still hard and challenging, but prototype's okay. Getting it ready for manufacturing is probably like the hardest thing. And we had no manufacturing equipment. We was literally starting from complete scratch. No real known brand, no manufacturing equipment, hardly any staff. I think there was like 6 of us at this point, and it was mainly engineers and just me. And then we was like, let's take some more money out. So me and Lee like piled money in from our own homes and stuff like that, just risked it for a biscuit. And then, but then we started getting more orders. So it was, it was filling us with confidence. Because we'd got those end user orders, I started then using that power to go out and speak to, electricians and wholesalers, and particularly ones that I already had decent relationships with. And we started getting pre-orders, which was allowing us to buy the components and the manufacturing equipment, all secondhand to start off with, like secondhand manufacturing equipment, really old stuff. It's just literally, it just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. And then we've never, still to this day, 4 years on, we never have had shelf stock. It's always been manufacturing out the door, and we've ramped up production like 5 times. We've sold over 100,000 devices now, like manufactured and sold over 100,000. So it's like,
that's not bad, is it really?
Great.
And how many times have you ripped up your business plan?
Oh God. Like, we always like, so yeah, loads of times. It's been ambitious because I am like queen of ambition. You know, I don't just want to get it to a certain point. I want it to be a global known, trusted brand in households all over the world. Like I have that sort of level of ambition. And so we always think big on the business plans, but then in reality, we have to do like cash flow forecasts and redo it every 3-4 months. I literally said the other day, 3 months is a year in myenergi terms. Like literally, that seems to be how it goes. Like,
is that, I mean, the speed of evolution, every business is different, you know that. The speed of evolution of your particular sector seems to be as much driven by necessity right now, but also potential down the line. And I guess with the, you know, the deadline, is it 2026 that they want the UK to be pretty much self-sufficient in electric vehicle production? And they're, you know, in the nicest possible way, it's a good time to be a buyer of an electric car because they really want you to have them, so they're almost helping you into them. The stars are aligned, aren't they, really, for certainly from the car charging perspective. If that's a consequence of the capture of your own energy, of myenergi, then that's timing. It couldn't be better, could it?
Honestly, everything like couldn't have gone better because, you know, you do have to, I've said it before, like obviously we never set up this business going, the electric vehicle market's going to be massive in this time. We literally set up to make our Eddy device for Germany. And it was just like, maybe we could do it to a car charger as well. We didn't do in crazy amounts of market research because we didn't have the time or the capital. We just looked at the few chargers that were on the market that were doing well and that were big and that are now actually like completely our rivals. So you look at them and you think they're massive, but whatever, we'll give it a go. They're actually like now we're key players in the space, which blows my mind. And we looked at them and we thought they are actually just a socket on a wall. No one was looking at EV charging with any type of innovative brain. It was just purely bang a socket on a wall, and they were charging a lot of money for these as well, charging the end customers a lot of money. And there was a government grant, and whenever there's a government grant, like they do things with the best intentions, but people then abuse it. So it was like, you know, they were giving away £1,000 a charger, and they were knocking on doors, seeing if you wanted a free charger, and putting them in for free, like charging a penny and putting them in for free to be like EV ready. So it was, I mean, crazy. And now that you can't put just a standard dumb EV charger in because they've got to be smart now, and sort of we've led the way in that because we were the first to load balance the home, which means, you know, when millions of EVs are plugged in, or when you plug an EV into your home, it's the biggest load going in your home. Like usually it's a kettle or something at 3.4 kilowatts max or something, and it's only for a few minutes. You know, you plug an EV in and they can take 7 kilowatts, and that's continual until it's fully charged, you know, if it's empty. So that's quite a large load. Throw in like cookers, electric cookers, electric showers and things like that, heating. Quickly your main fuse is starting to get warm, and if you're running at that all the time, I mean, you don't need to charge an electric car all the time, and that is a common misconception. But when you have got it plugged in, and if it was just a dumb charger, you'd just be cane in your house is electricity. Whereas ours, with the Zappy, it load balances the home. So if you switch on a kettle or something and you've got it in eco mode, it'll hold off the charge to the car until the kettle's finished, or it'll know if you've got in the shower, and you know, so you can set limits, and it'll vary the charge to the car. And it's also really clever because it can communicate with there's something called like agile tariffs or dual tariffs. So you can plug it in, it'll pause the charge, and then when you know, carbon's low and the grid want you to use your power, that's when you can charge the car, and the Zappy will automatically do that for you. Or when the tariff's really cheap, you know, so when there's plenty of wind generation and things like that.
Yeah.
So you can literally plug Zappy in, set a few features on your app and in your account, and then it will literally just charge the most economical way. So you don't even need solar panels to have it and for it to be eco. But then if you've got panels like today, I've just kept mine in eco mode, and it's just been trickle feeding off my solar all day. Obviously, I'm not going anywhere really at the minute.
Yeah, quite.
I like to keep the battery like down a little bit so that I can just keep topping it up with spare solar.
Okay, so you mentioned wind energy there, and obviously, the connection here is even greater and even better timing. That myenergi is growing like a weed in a town that is growing like a weed off the back of renewable energy.
Mm-hmm.
Cast your mind back, and I won't ask you how many years because I'm not that rude, but cast your mind back to when you were. Where did you go to school?
Toll bar.
Okay, so when you were sitting at Toll Bar, however many years ago that was, let's say 5 years ago.
Very sweet.
Sitting at Toll Bar, and I've got a lot of friends of mine that were at Toll Bar school. Could you, at that time, have envisaged A, doing what you're doing now, B, doing what you're doing now, where you're doing it now, and C, that place would have almost the wraparound industry that could support the thing you hadn't dreamed of in the place you didn't think was possible?
Do you not know? Because I don't think I could have visualized this kind of future. Like when I was younger, all I wanted to do was travel. Not because I wanted to get out of the town. I'm not one of those people. I bloody love this town.
Good.
Because it's all my family, it's all my friends, it's my solid roots, and I've had a really nice, upbringing. I love the area, and I've always felt safe, and I love the fact that we've got the countryside, and I love the fact that we've got the beach.
Yep.
I just love the area. So it wasn't that I wanted to escape, it was because I wanted to get cultured and wanted the experience and wanted to party and live a little bit. So I went off traveling. But I can't tell you, I've never known what I've wanted to do. I've not been one of those people that's come out of school. I went to college for a bit, dropped out of that because I thought it just ain't for me. Tried a bit of everything. I've been one of those people who's tried every career. Like I've been a radio presenter, I've been a Zumba instructor, I've worked in education. I'm one of those people that truly believes that if it don't fulfill you and you're not happy, move on. I'm not. And
agreed.
And I haven't known what I've wanted to do. So I've dabbled, but I've always naturally been a good communicator and I've got pretty good common sense, I think. And that's from my Grimsby roots that not many, and you find that lots of people, go off and study for something and they study hard. And then by the end, they're so studied out and they don't know what they want to do with it afterwards. And I've just sort of let life just happen. But I've always had this internal feeling that I would do something big, and I didn't know what it would be, but I wanted it to align with my ethics and wanted it to be something good, and I just put that out there to the universe, and it led me to Lee. And I've worked with Lee for 10 years now and worked with him in his previous business, and I just worked as an admin person because I was I needed some more money. I was buying a house and everything, and I was a Zumba instructor and it wasn't paying enough. So I went and got an admin job with Lee, and then just fell in love with the sector, like literally fell in love with renewables, fell in love with sales and marketing, even though I don't class myself as a typical salesperson. Hate it. I hate someone like cold calling me, or I hate someone going, sell me that pen. I genuinely have to be passionate. I can't lie. I can't lie and sell something that's a load of crap, basically. And I was just lucky that I met Lee, loved the industry, loved that there was this pocket of people in Binbrook doing epic things that would just stay in a room if I didn't put them out there to the world, like super intelligent people making cool and innovative shit. Sorry. Cool stuff.
We'll cut that out, don't
we? I swear. I'm a Grimsby lass. I swear a lot.
That's why we're not going to cut it out. So
yeah, you just look at it in the C-bomb. I'm joking.
There's time, to be fair. There is time. So.
Yeah, there is. So yeah, I just stumbled across this epic bunch of people and thought, I can market this, I can get it out there. And I just made some ace. At the beginning, I went into the solar coaster. So I worked in when the renewables was good and people were banging solar on the roofs everywhere and making loads of money. I was going to the trade shows, I was having a laugh, my network was expanding. And yeah, I just fell in love with the space
Yeah.
and just knew that I would always do quite well in it and succeed in it. And I just put that passion out there.
It's interesting. You said something there that I find such a current sort of common thread with all the people that I talk to for this project, for the Grimbarians project, is a degree of honesty. You said I can't lie, and the honesty I think that comes from the people in this area is starting to be turned towards a positive note, because for
Mm,
a long time that honesty has told you how rubbish it was. And there's been times, I can remember them quite clearly when I used to work for my dad in Grimsby, and driving down the fish docks to take booze to people, and it was the most thriving, fantastic place in the world in the
yeah.
early 80s. And then it wasn't, and you
Mhm,
couldn't lie, it wasn't, it was awful. But
yeah.
now it's turning back again, and I think that honesty curve, if you like, has stayed. The same line has been, I'll be honest about it, but I've got to tell you it's rubbish. Now it's like, actually, do you know what? There's opportunity here, and led by the renewables industry.
Mm,
We don't mind what we're world leading in, as long as we're world leading.
yeah.
Everybody always talks about the past, and that's lovely, but it's not coming back. So it's what's next is what's most
Yeah.
important. How important is that to you, to not just be part of it? No, I mean, you're one of the leading lights in that renaissance, really, of this area, which is a wonderful thing to be able to say to people. But
Mhm.
how important is it to you that those around you, those that work for you, work with you, are in your orbit, see this place positively?
Oh God, it's so important, and that's why we've got a really like epic team. And I was really worried because I've never managed a team this big. I've never been part of a company this big, like this fast growing. And you really want people to enjoy coming to work, and that's why we're striving to continually keep improving my energy, because I want to attract talent as well. Like I want people to be attracted and come work here. I want to bring talent to the town
Yep.
as well as employ locally. So we like I said, we took 70 on during the pandemic. That to me is like the most humbling and amazing feeling that we're helping people like through this time. And if we can attract new talent to the area as well, and everything that's going on, like the town project, so exciting.
Mm,
Cleethorpes,
mm.
so exciting. Like I class it all as the same thing. I don't
Yeah,
class
yeah.
Grimsby and
Good.
Cleethorpes. I literally class it as the same thing.
Mm.
Um, but I just think the level of opportunity that there is here for a career, it's cheaper to live here than it is in a city. B, it's like the energy estuary, it's the hub of
Yep.
the country.
Yep.
And it's like we're creating a actual like version of Silicon Valley.
Mm.
You know, I want to work closely with the education sector and make sure that we're upskilling the younger generation. Like that is something that's so important to me and that I'm more passionate about, because I want them to be excited about the industry. I think it's a cool industry. I'm like not that cool,
Well,
but I
it's the
work
it's
in a
the
cool.
future. I mean,
It is like I get to play with electric cars all day long. They're
yeah.
bloody fast. They're like gorgeous. The trade shows are fun when they're happening. So I get to go out of town. My job takes me around the world, and we're not just growing like the engineering suite. We're growing the HR suite, the marketing side, the sales side. Like it is a fun emerging market, and I just want the area to actually realize how exciting and how much opportunity there is in
And I
the
think
town.
that's
All
that's
said everything that
yeah.
is huge.
That's the key part there, actually, Jordan, is that people should realize what's going on.
Yeah,
I constantly bang on about all you need to do is to get people from that'll never happen to I hadn't thought of
yeah,
it that way, and then they can do the rest. They don't need you at that point because the momentum has started.
absolutely.
And they follow it themselves. So I genuinely think that we're past that point, actually.
Oh, me too.
The media to a certain extent holds you back because that's a better story, is to talk it down rather than talk it up. The Grimbarians project, and the reason I invited you on tonight, really is about the positive side of that. It's the glass half full reporting of what's going on. So
Yeah.
if you have the opportunity now, I will give you the airwaves to shout from the rooftops what you'd like to see happen, not just for myenergi and you personally, but for your hometown over the next years, decades. What would it look like to you?
I just want to keep attracting more business within the renewable space and within the technology space to the area. I think there's so much opportunity. The council are amazing to work with. And I'd just love to see us become the actual hub of green energy. I'd love us to be green Grimsby. I've said it to the council a few times. We've got great Grimsby, but I'd love to see it be green Grimsby.
Yeah.
I'd love to see, us really adopt and get behind electric vehicles and get behind what we're good at. And one thing, I know America's got its problems, but at least they champion successful businesses and focus on it and shout about what they're good for. And Grimsby, that is one thing that we are absolutely amazing at, is shouting at what we are good at. But I think, the renewable side of it really needs to be shouted about more, if I'm honest.
Well,
and
I
I think
agree.
we need to be at the leading, at center stage for the UK for that. And I'd just really I'm going to help play my part as much as I can. But there's so much cool stuff going on, like so many cool startups. I want to see more of that. I want to see more startups. To me, startups excite me the most, and how I see myself progressing as a person and as an entrepreneur into the future. I always see me having a massive part of my energy, but eventually I want to be in the position where I'm supporting startups, maybe, investing financially, board member. I'd love to do anything like that. And it's especially within this area. So I just encourage business owners to, to take the plunge. Difficult at the moment, I understand.
Yeah,
but it's also an opportunity,
I was just going to say that it's, any recessionary period, whatever the cause, brings with it a natural rebound, which if you have the energy and the opportunity, is where most businesses start. Historically, that's where most businesses are formed, is at the end of a recession.
And outside your comfort zone. You have got to actually just go for it sometimes. And it's and when you speak to, I think, any sort of entrepreneurial person or any startup, in the town, I was only speaking to Ebb and Flow not too long ago, and they just they say, oh God, we want to do this, we're just going to make these decisions now, make it happen. There's no, and you have to just take that leap of faith and just have trust in your own ability and go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, somebody much more famous than you or me actually said, just screw it, just do it. And I think that's a good philosophy to work from now, because there's no downside to it. And it's funny because I spoke to Tony from Ebb and Flow on one of these talks last year, and at the start of the first lockdown, when it was all a little bit weird but kind of exciting. Now it's not exciting at all, but still a bit weird. But the enthusiasm for, come on, let's crack on, is still there. It's overwhelming, I think, in people. And of course, you're now entering into the world of global sports sponsorship. I saw that little caption on social media the other day about you being in the Premier League. Tell me a little bit about what happened there.
Yeah, so again, where there's opportunities at the moment, because some of the larger companies are holding back on their marketing spends. It's allowed companies of medium to large scale like us to sort of jump in, and it's just been something that I thought, I'll try it. An opportunity presented itself. We got 12 Premier League matches advertising, so you'll see us popping up a little bit more. And I just thought, why not? We're here, we're a big player, and it's now getting to that time where I want to start creeping into, we're very much an early adopter market still, but it's starting to become more mainstream. People are accepting that EVs are coming. People are accepting, especially because of Corona, that is another positive thing, that coronavirus has actually made people look at climate change and sustainability a little bit more, and be more open-minded about EVs and looking into them. And the sales have actually increased for EVs, but gone down for combustion engines. So it's showing you that it is on the up, and people want to breathe in clean air. People are spending a lot more time outside, seeing that nature and animals are, coming out to play a bit more, or finding their way. Nature's got a funny way of claiming back.
Well, look how quickly it happened last spring, and when everything got turned off, and look how quickly everybody was going, this is amazing. I can smell stuff.
Exactly.
It was fascinating. So, and you would never do this, of course. You would never have an experiment whereby you turned everything off to see what would happen.
No.
So we're in a live test.
I like to see it as a big deep breath, and I think I just want myenergi to be the answer for for people to come and feel comfortable from the mainstream market. If you're thinking about switching to electric, start watching us and listening to some of our customers and some of our installers, and learning more about the industry. So I just wanted to start putting it out there to people that don't know about us yet, and so it could pop up and be like, who's this myenergi, and who's the first eco, what's an eco charger?
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, it's all about awareness, and you are, as you said rightly earlier on, a very good communicator of that, and I think that's something that we should be very thankful for as an area, as a town, that not only have we got market leading businesses, but local people behind it and running it and banging the drum, which is something that we all need to do more of, to be honest, Jordan. So so tell me, you've had a quiet couple of years then, really. New baby, growing business, relocation, buying land to build the next factory before the first factory is built. Any limits on your ambition for this at the moment?
No, there's
Good
zero
answer.
limits. I never limit myself, and I'm really like, I just have big dreams for it. I just know that myenergi is going places, particularly this year. Like, we are going to be one to watch within this space. We've opened subsidiaries in Germany now. We've got an office in Germany. We've got an office in Belgium. We've got an office about to open up in Ireland. Shouldn't be saying that, but we have. And about to open. It doesn't matter. And we're looking at Australia. We're looking at the States. So really, and we've got like 8 or 9 products pretty imminently that we want to release in a period of time. So we're going to be releasing more products whilst the demand is still growing for our existing products.
It's funny, isn't it? You mentioned Australia there, and it reminded me, actually, 2 years ago, I think it was, Rob Walsh asked me to go and have lunch with 9 Australian journalists who had travelled all the way from Australia to Grimsby to see what we were doing right in renewables.
Amazing. Because of the renewables?
Yeah, and I sat. We went to Steele's, because you do, and sat and had fish and chips with 9 of the most Australians I think I've ever met in my life.
True Blues.
Channel 9 News, Sydney Morning Herald, big players in Aussie media, and they have looked at us as a town and gone, they are getting it right. What do we need to learn? And I think as soon as more of the majority of locals in our lovely area recognize that other people see us as a success, then actually that might rub off on them as well. And you need people to champion that. You need people to lead, and you are definitely one of those. But what would you say, final words tonight, what would you say to anybody sitting watching this at home? Hopefully they've tuned in, watched it on social media. The opportunities that abound for the young people in our town, the people that are maybe out of work and looking to change and looking to do something new. Give me a nugget that we can leave them with tonight, Jordan, that gives them the same boundless optimism and enthusiasm that you so clearly have.
Yeah, so for starters, just try and educate yourself on the white paper that the government have wrote, on renewable technology. Yep. Bringing the ban of electric vehicles forward from 2030 to 2030. Have a look at what we've got in this town. So Orsted are huge. myenergi are going to be so huge in this space, and it's a domestic product. It's not like large wind, which is amazing, and I'm super proud of it for, but we're talking like homegrown technology that is going to be distributed throughout the world. We're looking at not just employing hundreds of people, thousands eventually. So if you've got a specific interest in marketing, in sales, as I mentioned, HR, you want to get into engineering, electronics engineering, you want to look in production and manufacturing, ops, IT, there's literally, in one business like myenergi, it needs a lot to run, and it needs a lot to upscale to go global. And this is just the beginning. We haven't even, if you're looking at the hockey puck, we're like at the bottom of it. The industry hasn't even taken off yet. Just do some fact finding and read how many EVs have sold, and how many cars there are in the UK and what that means, that switch. And I think educate yourself on the sector and the automotive, going fully autonomous. I mean, that's a crazy concept, an exciting concept. So I'd say if you're wanting to stay in your area, and I think it's a beautiful area to live in the country, have a good look at what is actually in your town and the opportunities that present it, and then sort of, especially the younger ones, can guide their future based on that, and you know, can study it or can get in touch for apprenticeships or what, you know, whatever. Speak to us. We're local people, you know, come and speak to us. And
very approachable local people, and it's a rare thing indeed, Jordan, to be to have the opportunity, I think, to be a part of the start of something in your own area without having to travel and finding it. So
it's the industry, you know, that's going to lead us no matter what. And we're already here and we're well positioned and one of the market leaders. So, you know, tap into that. And there's going to be loads of spin-offs from that. It's not just myenergi. There's going to be all sorts of different businesses and opportunities that could open up for EVs and for renewables.
Yeah, definitely.
So you might even be able to start your own business and come and join us on the green.
Fantastic. Yeah,
on the green business site.
Listen, thank you for taking the time tonight. Friday night, great Grimsby day. Enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm sure you will with whatever that was. Did you say it was a vitamin B12 with a side serving of vodka?
Keeping it real.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lovely to see you. It always is. Thank you for chatting with me tonight.
Thanks for having me. Hope I made sense.
You absolutely did. You've been a perfect guest for Grimbarians Online Talks. Jordan Brompton, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.